Hello, 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 everyone. I am getting ready for the Pleasure Island experience in Denver area, and it's raining on me a little bit, so I may go inside. I'm at the hotel, but I didn't want to miss you guys. This is my favorite part of the week, our live Q&A. So I am here to answer questions. You can ask me whatever you want on money, sex, and God. I've gotten some amazing questions in the past. You can look through and search and watch the archives. It's been pretty awesome. So I'd love to get any questions. Hey, Sean, Ariel, Ray, what's up, guys? Big love. I'm getting rained on. I'm going to go in the lobby. But as I go in, type away, type some questions in. You can also jump on camera with me if you want to get some connection and some truth here. We can play in there as well. Okay, I'm gonna go in my lobby. This will be better. So yeah, I'm here. Anything that you need, any questions that you have, let me know. And I'm just gonna wait until you ask me questions. Okay, it rained on me. I'm done. I hope everyone's having a delicious day. Feel really good, really juicy. All right, if you're just now popping on, this is our weekly Q&A, Money, Sex, and God. We do this every week at 3 p.m. Eastern. I hope you guys can hear me. So any questions that you have about me, about God, about money, about sex, about spirituality, about truth, anything that you need, you can totally ask them. And I'll probably wait another 5 minutes. If I don't get any questions, I'm going to go because I want to be fed by you guys, by your questions. And if you're not asking questions, why am I here? So I see that people are on. So if you're on and you're watching, just feel free to ask any questions. Money, sex, and God. You can ask whatever comes up for you in the moment. If you're struggling with something, if you and your partner are going through something, if you want to hear more about how to have it all in your life, if you want to know more about how to tap into your magic, I'm here for you. I'm here for that. Let me know. And I'll wait in the meantime. Any questions? Hi, I see people on. Steve, Jennifer, Sandra. I don't have much of a mind right now because I'm in total bliss pleasure. So I would just start rambling, but there's not really anything in my mind. By the way, women, this is where you get to be too. This is where the magic happens. Okay, Sandra, thank you for your question, love. She said, how do you surrender and trust your strength? So whenever I find myself asking how, I know in that moment that I'm no longer in truth. As soon as I find myself questioning, how do I do this? I'm not in my magic. I'm not in my body, right? So when I find myself asking a how question, or I have a client asking a how question, what we do is we figure out not the how, but the what and the why. What do you really want? Why do you want to surrender? What's juicy about that for you, right? How does that fill you up, right? Why do you want that? What do you want to create? And then from that place, you simply let your body take you there. Now, many of us are conditioned against our natural flow in our bodies. So many of us have kind of this push feeling Sorry, I'm so bouncy. Whee! Many of us have this kind of pushing energy when we're trying to do something. So a lot of people will try to surrender and they're like pushing to surrender. I see this a lot. And the issue with that is surrender is the opposite experience, right? We're not pushing to surrender. We're actually like letting go and leaning back to surrender. The surrender comes from a place of mass deconditioning, of not seeing, but allowing all of the places in your body that are conditioned against truth to unravel. I do this through touch practice. I do this through sexuality and erotic energy. The thing that's so cool about erotic energy is once we start to bring it up, once we start to enliven it, then it's kind of like a clearing. Like it reminds me of, you know, those like robot vacuums that go around and like can clean and clear the floor, and they just kind of know where to go and they clean the edges and stuff. That's what sex does. It goes in and it just figures out like, oh, there's some stuff here that's not your truth. There's some stuff here that's holding you back from surrender. And it works on that, right? The pleasure heightens the ability for our energy to come back to a place of alignment, to come back to a place of that surrender, right? And then, and the way that I know what touch to use is based on my erotic blueprint, which I've talked about before, but there's 5 of them. So you want to know what your erotic blueprint is first, so that when you're feeding yourself, you're doing it in a way that's actually in alignment with what your body needs in order to decondition, so that you can trust and let go and surrender, right? So if, for example, my primary is an energetic, that's mine. And so that means that for me, my body trusts and deconditions the most with anticipation, with stillness, right? When I can feel the energy of a partner, or even the energy in my own body, when I can really tap into it, that's my first step. And then that kind of like takes off the first layer for me, so that I can then move into the other blueprints, which for me, sensual is usually where I go next, which is like the touching, the smelling, the kind of romantic world, right? If I go to sensual first, and I don't go to energetic first, then my body won't be able to unravel itself. My nervous system won't be able to fully relax and open in the way that now I know it can. And what happens is, after you practice this in your blueprint, after you continue to touch your body and ask for touch in your blueprint, the unraveling process becomes quicker, and it becomes much easier for you to actually trust and surrender and let go, right? Because if someone went straight for sexual blueprinting on me, for example, which is my least wired, so they just went straight for genital sex, I would basically like go into total, like my body would clam up. It wouldn't be able to fully relax in and drop in, right? So yeah, Sandra, you would go first to sensual, so you'd make sure the lights are good, the music is good. You would do that like full palm touch on your body. You would, if you're with a partner, you would make sure that there's romance there. You would talk about how important that is for you to have flowers and chocolate and, you know, that scenario, so that your body can open and let go. And then you mentioned the piece about strength. Strength is a funny thing, because strength is much less about strength, right? As we know it, a lot of us think of strength as like warrior, like I can withhold this, I can do this, I can maneuver this. And I want to just kind of shift this paradigm a little bit. Strength is less about that pushing and that like ability to get your stuff done, and way more about how much capacity do you have to follow your own intuition? How much capacity do you have to follow your body when your body says no, when your body says yes? How much capacity do you have to be present with someone else in their unraveling, right? That's true strength. It's a commitment to being in the rawness and the realness of what's actually here. So when we think about strength, I don't want us to think about lifting weights or, you know, like energetic weights or emotional weights and like learning and training. We want to shift it and think more of how can I increase my capacity. So the best way to increase your capacity is to increase your capacity for pleasure. Pleasure is often, that the energy of pleasure, we shy away from it as a society, right? We will often say like, oh, that's good enough, right? I'll have this one piece of chocolate, or I'll have one orgasm, and that's good enough. And I always encourage people, like, how much pleasure can you actually stand? Right? And then what starts to happen is you'll find that you'll hit a ceiling on how much pleasure you can take, like where it'll bring up all your stuff, right? Remember, it's excavating the parts of you that are not in alignment. So it's going to bring up your unworthiness. It's going to bring up your feelings of that are not true, but just these parts of you that are warring with that. That's going to come up. And it is, if you're in the exploration and the play of it, it's really fun to be like, ooh, that's what came up. How can I use that to dive deeper into pleasure? How can I have pleasure meet that? So that my expansion becomes less about growth and more about capacity, right? More about like, yeah, I can actually let myself fall into the deliciousness of life. I can actually do that. And I don't have to put a limit on it. That's society, right? I get to just, I mean, you should see my week this week, guys, like with pleasure, and last week in Costa Rica. It doesn't feel possible. If I told society of it, it wouldn't be possible. And that's why I'm in this game, this play of like, what else can we do? Where else is there some magic, right? So strength for you, Sandra, is in expanding that capacity of how much pleasure can you take. Your nervous system will then expand rapidly, and people will come to you like moth to a flame, right? Because they're going to want that light. They're going to want to resonate with you, vibrate with you, right? That's the game. And it's so fun. Thank you for that question, love. I hope I answered it completely as you desired. More questions? You can ask them. I have no idea what time it is. I don't know how long I've been on, so I'll be on for a little bit longer until the energy feels like a drop. But I'm here for any other questions, sex questions, money questions, spiritual questions, me questions, you questions, same thing. Thank you, Sandra. You're amazing. You're amazing as well. We all are. Just equally as amazing. It's all about how can we just remember that. How do we get to remember that? All of our amazingness. We just have to remember and remind each other. That's why sex is so fun. That's literally what it is. Let me remind you how awesome you are. Okay, you too. Let me remind you how you are love. Oh, you too. Let me remind you how much you can connect and trust and play. Oh, you too. That's sex. That's why it's so important. And you can't really get it anywhere else in that way. Right? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to leave if we don't have any other questions. And I'm going to go get on a client call. I am now booked up through September, except for one spot that's open in June. Here's a fun comment, Joseph. Sex is only fun when we align ourselves. Huh. Okay. And then I got another anal sex question. Definitely want to answer that. But let me start with Joseph. Sex is only fun when we align ourselves. I encourage you to look at it a different way, and that sex can be fun even when we are completely out of alignment. Even when we're funky and fucked up and we are in our shit and we're like just immersed in that pain, it can still be the most delicious thing, because that rage and that grief and that anger that will then get us to a place of alignment, to a place of remembrance, that gets to be just as fun and pleasurable as not. Right? What if all of it is fun? Okay, Rebecca, yesterday you talked about anal sex connected with money flow. How are they connected? They're so connected. Okay, so anal sex. Here's my like quickie, which is not what I recommend for anal sex. Okay, anal sex is all about receiving. So is money, right? So they both have this energetic kind of capacity to check in with our nervous system and be like, what can you hold, right? So money is a lot about how can you play that game and then hold your cards when you get them, right? How can you fully receive the gifts that you're getting? And how can you claim and own your own magic, right? So, oh my God, hi. Everyone just got out of the thing. They're all amazing. I'm on a Facebook Live. I love you guys. Everyone looks really sexy with their leopard print and shit. Okay. Distraction with sexiness. So, in order to increase your capacity to hold money and to play with money, if you open the channel in your body where you can root into the earth and know that you are safe and know that you are secure in your own being, then money will come to you, because there's nothing that is fighting it, right? So a lot of people struggle with money because they're in this place where they don't feel safe or secure in themselves, right? So if they're, hang on, let me collect. I'm getting distracted. Can you tell? I'm an energetic, so like I'm picking up on everything in the room right now. So there's many people, when they think of money, their body goes into contraction. Their body goes into conditioned response again of like, fuck, I'm not safe. Fuck, this isn't okay. I don't know how to hold this. I can't hold this. I don't deserve this. That's all root. That's all root chakra work. That's all about safety in your body. That's all about, can I really be held by the universe, right? So once we start to go and play with the nerve endings in the anal, in and around the rectum, inside of anal play, what that does is it puts a direct connection energetically to Mother Earth, which is there to hold you, right? And to really drop in and connect to your body and what your body is capable of holding, right? A lot of us in the spiritual community don't hold our bodies in a way that it's like, fuck yeah, this is amazing, right? And anal sex brings us into our body in a very primal way, right? So when we're in it, we're feeling our skin, we're feeling this vessel that we've been given. Money then doesn't feel unsafe anymore or wavering anymore. And so in that, we can have it, right? We can let ourselves really be with it and have it. It's like, it feels like the energy of it is like this beautiful holding, playful space, right? And then once you start having anal orgasms, that brings the flow and the play with money. So you can start to play with like, well, what if I buy this, I don't know, what if you buy like a 30K package, right? Like, oh, that's fun. Let's play that game and see what happens there, right? Like, it's that energy. It's the same energy that comes with an anal orgasm. It's the same, like, I'm just going to fully let go, and I'm not going to hold on to anything, because I recognize that safety is actually just an illusion, right? This desire for me to always feel safe is not actually real. And so if I can allow my nervous system to just like drop it and let go, right, then I can do the same thing with money and play and dance on the waves of it. So, yeah. My thoughts on money and anal. I could probably go on about that for like 2-3 hours, because I think it's really fascinating. In my own life, the first month that I hit 6 figures in my business was the first month that I had anal sex and anal orgasms, after massive trauma in that area, like major rape stuff and lots of pain, lots of violence. So anal was like definite no for me. And then it came up and I released, and then boom, magic. All right, you guys. Rebecca, please experiment and let us know the process. I'm curious how it goes for you. I'm gonna pop off and do some meditation and drop into me before my next call. I was saying before I got that question, booked through September for one-on-ones, but I have one spot opening in June. So if you're serious about working with me, if you've been kind of playing with it, it's all international, everything's online. You can do in person, but most of it's online. So if that's calling for you, I would say DM me like today. My assistant will get back to you with timing and how to maneuver all of that. But I want to make sure that if you're someone who's been looking into it and curious about it, please jump on it today so that we can get you in there before the fall, right? Because I don't know about you, but living a life without sexual expansion is not a life at all. And so 3 months is too late to wait, right? When like everything is available for you right now, right here. And you get to train with me and resonate with me so that your body becomes just as open and magical as mine has become. All right, guys, I love you to pieces. Thanks for being on. I'll see you next week, Friday, 3 o'clock, same time, same place. We have the Money, Sex, and God podcast is back up every Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern. So keep a lookout for that. It's going to be amazing. And love you guys so much. Thanks for the questions. I hope you learned things. I hope you're going to go play and have fun. It's not serious. Remember, this is a really joyful, beautiful way to expand and to tap into who you are. Okay. Mwah. Love you guys so much.